Hello, family. Welcome to my channel. I'm Glacia Rain, intuitive life coach and ascension guide. I'm also a health coach, and I want to bring this talk to you today about cooperation instead of competition, and kind of, how humanity is shifting into this alignment of divine harmony instead of being just so chaotic and separate. You know how we really want to feel like we belong. We want to connect with each other. We want to feel safe with each other, right? And often we don't. And a lot of times we compete with people around us through unconscious or subconscious insecurity. And then also it's something that's kind of scripted in the media, in movies and different things like that. Competition is kind of promoted. The old paradigm of competition really disrupts the flow of source energy that is now starting to integrate into deeper levels of all of our lives. And it can really knock us off of our true paths. With the unity consciousness grid, cooperation doesn't mean that we're just working together, right? It's more about creating win-win situations. It's really about changing your mindset to look at the world through the lens of win-win, right? Where the old paradigm is win-lose, which I actually like to say is lose-lose. Because if you have to win at somebody else's loss in unity, are you actually winning? Well, that's why I call it a lose-lose. When we cooperate with each other, we are co-creating with the energy of the universe, and we're aligning with the divine flow that really embraces unity and ease and harmony. We begin to flow in this kind of divine harmony or divine dance with each other that allows us to sync up with our greatest timelines, right? What is in your highest good is also somebody else's highest good. So the highest good is the highest good, and it's where all of us are really thriving. If we think about how cooperation creates flow and competition creates resistance a lot of times, right? And so if we're talking about the universal flow of life force and source consciousness, we want that to be unimpeded, right? We want that to move freely. And so stepping into cooperation is one way to kind of get into your place within the universal flow, right? Like every drop of the ocean has its place in the entire ocean, and we all have this place, right? Competition is typically rooted in the belief that there's not enough to go around, right? It's kind of a lack mentality, and it's the old paradigm of scarcity, separation, winners, losers, and it's really a place for the ego, where the ego dominates and disrupts the flow of divine harmony and creates disturbances, disappointment most often, and then with some people it can lead them to develop a belief or a point of view that it's not possible to have what they want. And if a person sustains that point of view, that can become a very dangerous or life-threatening point of view to hold. Because if you've ever felt like you can't have what you want in this life, life starts to feel hopeless, pointless. You feel helpless, and that can lead your mind to go into really dark places. When competition is unhealthy, it can show up as like cutthroat actions and copying others' ideas, undercutting their work, coming into situations with negative intentions or ulterior motives, right? Like trying to figure out scheming, kind of. Trying to figure out how to get the best for yourself is what a lot of people are doing when they're competing with others. They want the most, the best. And this really is from the ego, like this lower level of self that needs to be kind of disciplined and evolved and brought into unity, right? When people try to take those shortcuts by kind of being cutthroat against others, when you're in the unity grid, that actually reflects back to the person creating it pretty quickly. So whatever intentions we project, positive or not, they're reflected back to us almost instantly. And if someone acts from a place of envy or fear or malice, and um, those energies don't just harm the intended person. They also reverberate back around and disrupt the person who sent them out. And actually far worse than it disrupts the other person, because whoever generates them, that kind of entity that they generated comes back to feed on them, right? And then is bound to them because it matches their energy, so it will consistently come back to feed on them. And I imagine that's kind of what Eckhart Tolle means by the pain body, right? These entities that we produce ourselves, these thought entities. This is why competition, when somebody's really truly competing with you, it feels bad. It feels heavy. It doesn't feel fun and light and playful. It feels heavy and gross and dark. And there's a reason for that, because it is not really in divine flow, right? Or divine harmony. But not all competition is like that, right? There's healthy competition, and that's definitely worth noting. When we play games or have challenges that we are being fair and have good sportsmanship, it's playful and joyfully engaging. It's competition rooted in joy, not ego. And that's really fun. And that's actually healthy competition. And there's other ways, like in business, you certainly want companies, corporations to have competitions. You don't want them to be unchecked, but that's not what I'm talking about with the energy of competition in this discussion here. I'm talking about you competing with others, or others competing with you, us competing with individuals at large, or trying to compare and judge, and all of that stuff comes along with it too. Instead of allowing everybody to fit and flow, there's like the chaos and disruption, the stop and go stuff that is just kind of uncomfortable and not working for humanity, clearly. Now, let's talk about mirroring. Okay, so the energy of the grid we live in right now is so potent. The universe is really amplifying everything. These energies that are running through the grids right now are amplifying everything we think and feel and do and say. And all of our thoughts that are projected outward are quickly coming back to us. You can notice that. And if we're kind, supportive, and loving toward others, that energy returns to us magnified. And if we're harsh, judgmental, and competitive in a negative way, that energy of those actions also comes back to us amplified, and it'll feel heavy too. And I don't mean to laugh about it because it's not funny, because a lot of us do it unconsciously, right? We don't mean to feel like that. It's just we've got mindsets, belief systems, and points of view that trigger a thought pathway that leads us to feeling that, right? And that's where we have a lot of subconscious reprogramming to do, and exploration in the deeper levels of our minds, so that we can kind of understand why we feel the way we do, so those triggers aren't there. Because there's an implied meaning, right? When you have a trigger, there's an implied meaning. You've made something up from a subconscious level. Something means something. And when you figure out what that is, then you can usually clear the trigger, because it usually doesn't actually mean that. So getting into harmony with source starts with being mindful of how we're treating others. That's the first step, because if you're in a world of mirrors, right? Think about this for a second. You're mirroring with almost every single person that you come in, if not every single person that you come into contact with, right? And so if you're going to be mirroring, and you're going to be seeing back what you're putting out, and you're going to align with people who are willing to reflect that with you, then it stands to reason and makes the very most sense that you would only be kind and loving and do the things that you would like to see more of. This is so basic, my friends, but it's time for us to really get what we want by reaping what we're sowing. Okay? And that means being intentional and mindful in how we're approaching our lives, and even what we do first thing in the morning. You wake up, you turn on your phone. No, you wake up, give yourself a few minutes to get into a space of gratitude. Tune in with your body for a second. Just listen. Listen to what your higher self has to say. Set an intention and tone for the day of beauty and gratitude, right? Because this really matters. The first energy, that's important. What you put into your day. It's kind of like, what you put into your body, what you put into your mind, what you allow into your energy field first thing in the morning starts to create and generate a pattern of energy for that day. And so if you want that pattern of energy to be really supportive and productive, Get into the feeling just briefly. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. You just kind of tune yourself to it, like tuning an instrument. Once it's tuned, you can play it. Just get yourself tuned in the morning and then go play in your day, right? If you approach your interactions with love and kindness and compassion, this whole world is going to shift because you're going to mirror that back. And then other people, you're going to line up with people who are doing that, which is going to increase the reason to do it. And then it's going to become infectious, right? And other people are going to want to be kind and be part of that amazing energy too, because the truth is, our hearts want to tune to a high vibration. They naturally do. That's why we love being around funny people or joyful people or people that make us feel safe. It's an energetic thing that our heart tunes into. Let's be those people in this world, right? Okay, so when we're living the energy of cooperation in the unity grid, this doesn't have to be something that is radical, right? This is something that is a gentle shift where instead of looking at the world in a competitive way, like the dog eat dog type world, right? That kind of I have to get mine mindset, which is very highly promoted, right? Our subconscious minds pick those programs up from media and movies and school and everything like that. Don't blame yourself if you've been caught up in that mindset before, okay? Just be aware and do your best to shift, right? But instead of looking through the lens of competition, start being curious. You know, curiosity is a very fun and lighthearted energy to be in. You can get curious about the other people around you, curious about what they're up to, curious about what's possible if you were to co-create together. Because deep down, most of us really want to connect and feel safe and co-create and be part of something, right? And often the desire to compete and be the best is an attempt to fit in, masked by an attempt to be the best, right? And I say that because often if we try to achieve all of these things and be the very best and have the very most or whatever, there's a subconscious attempt to be chosen by others or to have a reason to be there, right? A reason to belong. You know, then you won't be abandoned. It's almost like an avoidance of abandonment. So looking deeper at these different motivations, you know, that's just something to think about too. So being curious instead of competing, and then figuring out how to collaborate. Open up collaborations and cooperations with people, right? Instead of having to have it be just yours or just theirs, you know, let's start doing things together. It's pretty fun to do things together. We're humans, we're playful, lighthearted. And so then also celebrating others' successes is one of the greatest forms of cooperation, because the foundation of celebrating somebody's success, it means you're looking at what the universe is doing, or this is what it means to me at least. You're looking at what the universe is doing and providing for somebody else based on their expression. And so you're celebrating that the universe has matched their vibrational offering. The universe has matched what they have put out and allowed themselves to receive. And if it's something wonderful that they're enjoying it, that they earned it, right? They deserve it because of their vibrational energy, their energetic expression, their thoughts. Their thought streams. They've managed it in the way that they received it, right? Nothing happens by accident. It just doesn't just really actually fall into place. Everything is energetically arranged. So when you celebrate their success, you get into the energy of celebrating too. And that is very magnetic for you as well. So in those moments, we have those choices. We can go into envy, or we can stay in like celebrating their success and having genuine like joy for the other person getting what they want. That aligns you with getting what you want. You know, so that to me is like a win-win. That is a power move, really. And it feels good too. And there's a reason it feels good. There's a reason it's a power move. There's a reason that it's supportive in this universe. You know, the things that are supportive usually feel really good. With cooperation, source energy is able to flow freely, and divine harmony and divine alignment are the result, right? Everybody lines up and gets the support they need when we are allowing the energies of the universe to move without us having to distort them and try to tell them what they have to be or do. And it becomes kind of less effort, right? It's not effortless, but there's less effort, right? When things are flowing, things just move. And this is where we're shifting in the unity grid, right? Ah, my sweet family. As we move forward together, I'm really going to invite you to reflect on this, how cooperation really is the new way to move forward instead of competition. And look at how this can play out in your life and add to your life and add to others in a symbiotic way, So, um together, we're going to do this. We're doing this, right? We've already just made one of the biggest shifts we've made in a very long time, and humanity is awakening left and right. So keep up the good work. You're doing amazing. Absolutely spectacular. I love you so very much, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the year and also into 2025, which briefly I'll remind you, this energetic storm that we're in is wrapping up probably toward the mid January, right? So for some, the end of December, early January, and some mid January. So things are going to be shifting for us. Okay, they're shifting always, but this is a really significant shift too. So much love, family. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for being here. I appreciate you.